Here's my Fortnite Save the World in-depth weapon review on the Snowball launcher. I posted a poll yesterday on the community section of my channel. You guys voted that you guys wanted an in-depth weapon review on the Snowball launcher, so of course here it is. And as always, if you guys want to use my supporter creator code Salvaje, I would of course highly appreciate that. There isn't really a lot to say about the Snowball launcher because, well, it's a launcher, it's supposed to do good area of effect damage, it's supposed to basically clear out basic husk really easily, but there are a couple of things that I of course want to point out about the Snowball launcher. Alright ladies and gents, so fun fact, I was actually about to finish my Snowball launcher review, but then Sony Vegas just crashed on me, so I basically just had to do the review all the way from the beginning. But it's all Gucci though, you know, let's get it rolling. So one of the biggest things that holds back the Snowball launcher could be that it is a water-based weapon, which means that if you use it against Nature Husk, you're only going to be doing about 25% of the damage that the weapon provides. But then again, I would probably just say that that's just irrelevant. Throughout my testing with the Snowball launcher, I realized that even though this thing is a water element weapon, it doesn't even care if it's going against Nature Husk, Water Husk, Fire Husk, Galaxy Husk, Elemental Husk, doing the Worm Husk, or Floss Husk. Okay, look, you guys get the point. The launcher has such a great amount of consistent damage, and you're able to throw these snowballs at such a rapid rate that for the most part the damage that a single snowball provides is basically going to be irrelevant. If you are shooting the Snowball launcher at Nature Husk, for example, you're just going to be melting them if you just keep spamming the snowballs their way. I guess you could say newer players could say that the Snowball launcher isn't really a great weapon because of course it is a launcher and it has low durability. Well, when you're an endgame Save the World player or even a mid-game Save the World player, you don't just craft one launcher, you craft multiple launchers. For example, in a Retrieve the Data mission that I did in Twine Peaks with this launcher as I was testing it, I believe I crafted about maybe 6 or 7 Snowball launchers just because I knew of course the launcher was going to have some really low durability. And at the end of the day, that doesn't really hold back the weapon either. Something that I've realized about the weapon is that if you're just using the Snowball launcher to clear out a specific amount of husks that are just grouped up together, the launcher is just going to do that really well. And if you do want to run this weapon sort of in your primary slot during a Destroy the Encampment as well, you are of course going to have a lot of success with it. And the reason why I want to point that out is because there are other launchers in the game like the Thumper and of course the Easter egg launcher that are sort of like the competition to the Snowball launcher. But in my opinion, from what I've seen from my testing, I prefer the Snowball launcher over the Thumper and the Easter egg launcher, specifically since the Easter egg launcher is sort of more restrictive. Now, some of you newer players out there might not know what the Easter egg launcher is. Long story short, it's a launcher that throws down an egg, and if the egg doesn't hit the husk, then the egg just doesn't explode. So it's sort of like a proximity mine thrower launcher, I guess you could say. Anyways, the point is, I used the Easter egg launcher for a pretty decent amount of time, and something that I realized throughout my testing is that I had to be very careful at where I aimed so that of course I could be effective, and this basically just doesn't apply to the Snowball launcher at all. Okay, you basically just aim this thing and of course you shoot it in a general direction and it's just going to completely destroy all the husk that gets in its way. Okay, and that's one of my favorite things about the Snowball launcher. Last but not least, I just want to point out another thing that sort of makes this launcher stand out compared to other launchers out there like the Bazooka, for example, maybe even the Bowler, is the fact that you are able to throw of course 6 of these projectiles instead of 1 of these projectiles. From what I've seen also, the reload speed just really isn't that bad, although I did have 2 reload speed perks, but for the most part, and you know, from my experience as a Save the World player, when it comes down to launcher, reload speed just isn't a super big deal, because by the time you're done shooting your projectiles, there's basically going to be almost no husk around you. Last but not least, this launcher works really well with area of effect abilities. It's really good with the grenade, it's really good with the shock tower, it's really amazing and consistent with the Teddy. You basically just spam snowballs into the enemy's direction, you throw down a Teddy, and that's it, the enemies are just going to be completely melted. In other words, this launcher is exceptional, and I would probably recommend that you guys do not go for a critical rating, critical damage build. Since of course the base critical rating of this weapon is in 10%, I would probably recommend that you go with an overall damage build, as in just put damage perks and of course a reload speed perk on your Snowball launcher. And when it comes down to the star rating, I just have to give this weapon a 5 out of 5 stars. Alright, this thing is just a must-have. It's really good, and the fact that it's a water-based launcher doesn't really hold it back as much. I hope you guys enjoyed the review, and I'll be seeing you guys on the next one. Definitely make sure that you level up this launcher. It's a ton of fun.